Hello, this is That Talking Podcast. I'm JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
Welcome. We're here to talk and bring some civil discourse to an otherwise discordant world. Andy, how you doing?
Are we getting slower? Are we
We're
slowing
not getting
down?
slower. We're
winding down?
we're becoming emphatic.
Where's
Maybe even dramatic.
Where's my
Watch
dictionary?
me spit rhymes here.
Oh, for a second I thought you were going into a musical of some sort.
Maybe.
Gotta
I've been
get all the...
I've been quite literally on the brink of watching that Mary and Joseph musical again.
What?
I loved that movie.
Ugh.
Well, no one said you had to watch it. No one invited you to my tea party.
Get to the rules.
We got some rules. Well, I asked you how you were.
Enough about me. How are you? How are you, darling?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking.
Oh, if only we had cameras to capture that wonderful smile on your
Not
face
tonight.
right now.
Not tonight. Another night, but not tonight.
Even better to get you about 5 minutes earlier with a face full of chicken.
Before we get
What are
into
you,
the chicken,
Long John Peter?
Listen, before we get into the chicken, we got rules, right?
Yeah.
3 rules for the sake of, I almost said simplicity.
I
for
fucking
the sake
clipped.
of civility.
You see that spike there? Jeez.
Well, we'll fix it in post. 3
right.
rules. Yes, no judgment, nothing personal, and
Don't be a dick.
don't be a dick.
Dick.
Don't be a dick.
We're gonna get sued by Noel Redding.
What do you want to talk? His name's Noel Fielding. Wow. Now we're gonna get sued. Now we're gonna get sued by Noel Redding.
I'm like 3/4.
Whoever that guy is.
3/4 of the way done with this beer.
Andy.
It's Joan. Listen to me, Joan. Wait, what were we saying in the car? Dropping off the boy.
Daddy.
Dottie. You have to name. You're naming our next pet Dottie Minerva just so you can go.
Daddy.
Exactly.
What do you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about? You know, I had a lot of ideas in mind.
Yeah.
Because like on Tuesdays when the episodes drop, you know,
Yeah.
I sit there and I listen and it's like, you know, again, I've said this a million times. I listen partially to hear you because it brightens my day, especially when I'm having a shitty day. And a lot of times I have a lot of shitty days.
Yeah.
Because the work sucks.
Yes.
You know? And it also gives me time to think about what I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in one instance, I'll get an idea for an episode.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, I'll forget about it. I can't even talk.
That's why I text that shit to myself.
I started using the reminders in my phone a lot more.
Yeah.
And started, you know, thinking of things. But then again, 10 minutes goes by, I think of something else. Do you have anything in mind? Anything on, you know, you want to get
No,
out
I
there?
was riding your high. You said you had so many ideas.
Listen, I could come up with a million things. Yes. I mean, so much has happened. We're what, 10, 11, 12 days into the year?
12 whole days.
I know it's Sunday, but I don't know what the date is.
It's the 12th.
Yeah. You'll be hearing this on Tuesday, the
14th. Yeah.
That's right, the 14th.
This year is almost 2 whole weeks old. And some stuff has happened.
Quite a bit has happened, yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, the high that I'm currently riding is what happened on Friday. You know, the whole fiasco with my European arrival.
With you stalking the UPS truck around
Listen,
town?
I didn't stalk Kyle, okay? Kyle was like a phantom, okay? Me chasing him all around town.
I did show you Yellow Submarine at some point.
Yeah.
Though I don't know if you remember it. For those who have watched it a million times in the last 40 years, like yours truly, my brain did immediately go to when the submarine is sort of like stalking them. Yeah. You don't know what I'm talking about, but there are people out there who will.
Did we watch Hard Day's Night at this, like, right after or right before
No,
that?
we tried to watch Help, but my DVD fucked off.
Right, yeah. Okay.
And I'm still upset about that.
So
I'm not gonna lie.
we never tried to watch Hard Day's Night? Or
No,
did we? No?
No,
Okay.
not together.
I remember seeing trailers for it, like, on the Clerks DVD of all things.
Really?
And that's what made me kind of want to watch it.
You know what's funny is I've seen A Hard Day's Night, but I could not tell you like anything that happened in it because my childhood was so full of Help and Yellow Submarine.
Mm.
I could quote those movies backwards and forwards and upside down and sideways, but I could not tell you a thing about A Hard Day's Night other than it's in black and white.
I remember that trailer being like very enticing, and it was also around that same time. I want to say 04, 03, 04, where when I saw that trailer, I was like, let me go like break into my mother's record collection and see, if anything's down there. And sure as shit, she had Hard Day's Night and Meet the Beatles. And, now we have those records.
Did she have other Beatles records?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember, because I at some point in my late 20s, probably my early 20s, actually, I cataloged all of my parents' vinyl. And, I mean, you talk about duplicates of shit.
So my mom had all, like, Fab Four records. Anything, like akin to Sgt. Pepper's with the colorful clothes and the long hair and stuff.
Yeah.
Not a single one. I remember when I was in high school, we were around the mall at one point. You remember Volt? The store Volt?
Kind of.
It was the music store right about where Buffalo Wild Wings is.
I kind of remember it, yeah.
And there was another store on that strip that my parents must have been, I don't even remember what store they were in. But I'm like, I'll be in the music store. And I go in there. That's actually where I got my first vinyl.
Yeah.
I had just enough money to buy. Foo Fighters had just come out with the one with Times Like These and
I got nothing.
Like around 2002, like that time. I had just enough money to buy that, so that was my first vinyl. But I must have had, because I remember coming home with it, so I must have had enough money for Abbey Road, so I bought a reprint of that. And I remember my mother telling me, she's like, "That's not the Beatles." I'm like, "What do you mean that's not the Beatles?" She's like, "No, that's after they grew that wasn't them. That's not who they really were."
But it's so weird because wasn't the big deal that they had long hair and it's like...
And they were taking drugs and,
No, I mean like before all of that. Like when like in the Fab Four days, the whole thing was the mop top and everything.
Like I guess before they became, like beatniks, like the personification of beatniks.
Well, I mean the 70s happened.
It was okay for straight-laced people to like the Beatles.
Well, yeah. Because because you liked the Beatles or you liked the Stones.
This is a very like roundabout way of actually tying in the topic I wanted to discuss.
Oh, yeah?
Which was perception versus reality.
You want to talk about that? We did talk about that before.
You mentioned that, and, we're so many episodes in at this point that I can't remember what's been discussed or not.
We'll revisit. Consider this the reprise. Reprise? Reprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, I remember my mother saying all of that, and I'm like, okay, but that doesn't change the fact that there are actually good songs on this album. And, the album art, that was back at a time when people were like entranced by album artwork.
Mm.
I mean, I certainly was. Like back when you would buy a CD or a record, just an album in some medium, and you would be so captivated by the artwork, the liner notes, the lyrics, the composition of the whole thing. Like it was a piece of art. Yeah. And if you appreciated art, you would be able to see beyond just, the square in front of you.
Well, I mean, it's not just album artwork also. I mean, I think that, that's the same thing when you think of print media, when you think of book covers and especially magazine covers. Mm. I mean, I very much can remember vividly several covers of Rolling Stone magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one that
I still have a few.
The one that immediately springs to mind is that one of Janet Jackson that everyone, where she was topless.
I don't remember this one.
You don't?
I think I still have a copy of one with like, I want to say it's Jenny McCarthy and she's in a bikini, like squirting a big bottle of mustard, like across the screen.
On Rolling Stone?
Yeah. What
the fuck does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. That's a memorable one that comes to mind.
Makes me think that might not be Rolling Stone. Like, that sounds like Gonzo Life magazine or something.
No, because if it were, I would say so. Shelf. Like, I have at this point in my life, I have no shame, so I would admit that.
But I remember a lot of those. I remember,
I married a naked woman, for God's sake.
I'm not always naked.
97% of the time you are.
In several languages. But back to the topic at hand.
No, let's stay on naked.
You want to stay on naked?
I was just telling this guy I was training the other day that, I was like, my wife walks around like most of the time naked. I'm like, oh, I married the right woman.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I didn't say there was.
No, I'm saying it's, I mean, you talked about.
I just want to see how that comes across on audio.
Oh my God. But
this is supposed to be fun.
It is fun. Don't yell at me.
I'm not yelling.
But, I mean, what...
You were saying before there's either the Beatles or the Stones.
Well, okay. So in my experience, it's the same sort of argument of like Star Wars versus Star Trek. People want you to think that, well, either you can only have one.
That's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
It's absolute bullshit. There's no reason you can't have both.
No. And, I mean, I always thought that, like, it was Beatles or Elvis. But that seemed to be that they went hand in hand. It seemed to be more like they went hand in hand.
Yeah, that sounds... Well, I mean, I would never associate one with the other. That seems kind of strange. Like, Elvis was 50s, Beatles was 60s. Like...
Well, Elvis wasn't just in the 50s.
But Elvis's heyday was the 50s.
So, but then you have the Rolling Stones. Ugh. And it always seems to be that, like, you either are a fan of the Beatles and that says something about you as a person, or you are a fan of the Rolling Stones and that says something about you as a person.
Well,
what each one of those things says, though, is where my brain stops.
Well, let's tackle perception versus reality here. Now, prior to hearing anybody's opinion or knowing anything, I was like, okay, there are Beatles songs I like, there are Stones songs I like. I'm not married to really either one or the other. It's just, I hear a song that sounds good to me, to my ear. It's like, okay, that's what I like. It's, I don't care what anybody else thinks. Until now, you, in an effort to, get me back into reading, you.
Me.
You'd been reading to me Dante's Inferno and Mel Brooks's autobiography.
And I tried to read you Dante's Inferno.
And you started on Patrick Stewart's autobiography. And I was like, all right, you want me to start reading again? And I picked up Lemmy's autobiography for the first time since I read it. Like, I read it cover to cover in, I think, 4 days when I got it. Because I've infatuated with that man. And then we got to the part, because we were trading off, taking turns reading chapters to each other.
Yeah, how cute are we?
It's adorable. And, and this is something that's been well documented. He knew the Beatles and the Stones and Jimi Hendrix. He worked for Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
And he said he had seen the Beatles like multiple times, like before they had, signed to a label.
Yeah.
And he goes, the general consensus was that like the Stones were the hard men and the Beatles were the sissies, as he put it. And he's like, the Beatles were from Liverpool and the Stones were from the London suburbs going to art school and shit.
Yeah.
Like, and he would, adamantly say that the Beatles were the best band he'd ever seen in his life. I'm like, that's a really like...
It's a bold statement.
Considering that it's based off of their performances before Ed Sullivan, before being on television, before, being world renowned.
Yeah.
He's talking about seeing them in like Dungeness clubs.
Seeing them in Dungeness crabs?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And like...
Talk about perception versus reality.
But anyway.
Just imagining John Lennon's face on a crab scuttling across the seafloor. Just in the back of a new video coming out for Octopus's Garden.
He's an extra in The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Oh my God. Someone edit that shit in.
I liked that song. I really like
Octopus's Garden.
When I had the time to like actually listen to the whole record, I'm like, because I had my turntable down in the basement at my parents' house where we had the pool table, the makeshift pool table.
Yeah.
And I would put that record on and it would just play like as I'm sitting there just, learning how to play pool, teaching myself how to play pool. And I'm like, these songs are really catchy. And it baffled me because I'm like, how can my mother not like these? Like, you can like Hard Day's Night, you can like She Loves You, yeah, and all that stuff, but you can't like Come Together, you can't like Octopus's Garden, you can't like.
There are Beatles songs that I emphatically skip. Like, I do not dislike the Beatles to any in any way. I do not. But there are certain songs that I just don't want to listen
You don't
to.
care for.
I just do not care for.
And that's perfectly
like,
understandable.
One, for example, is Strawberry Fields.
Same. Yeah.
I don't like that song. I don't particularly like Hey Jude.
Like, if anything, the movie Across the Universe let me know which Beatles songs I really like and which ones I really just don't care for.
I liked that movie standalone. I liked it autonomous of its references to the Beatles, honestly. The
whole soundtrack is Beatles.
I know that. Yeah. I'm not a dummy, but I enjoyed that movie for what it was, not as a love letter to the Beatles. Okay. But like, there are certain things.
Will you at least like acknowledge that they chose the soundtrack well to go alongside the story?
Yes, of course. Okay. Absolutely. But it's like, I don't think that it has anything to do with like them turning a corner and becoming a different kind of Beatles or anything like that. There are songs that I don't want to listen to. She Loves You, yeah, yeah, yeah is another one. I don't want to listen to it.
Well, again, getting back to perception versus reality.
Yeah.
My parents led us to believe for the majority of our lives, totally straight-laced, totally like.
Your parents or the Beatles?
My parents. By the book, everything,
Yeah.
And that, if you liked the Beatles post 1969, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah. Then you were, on that side of things, that you were, counterculture.
You're a hippie.
Sure. And it was confusing to me because I was just at that point. I was, mid-teens, and I was still very like unaware of the way the world is, so unable to really understand where this was coming from. Never, not finding out until years later the hypocrisy that my parents would exercise in other, areas.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
are we about to dish on your parents?
No, because I don't speak ill of the dead.
They're not both dead.
No, but half of them are.
Love you.
Mm-hmm. And if anything, those interactions just taught me it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna like what I like, regardless of what anybody thinks.
Yeah.
And everyone's entitled to their opinions. But my perception at the time was like, okay, based on what I'm hearing from my mother, is you're not allowed to like Abbey Road or Sgt. Pepper's or anything past that White Album, whatever, because it's associated with drug culture and counterculture and dressing differently and acting different and going against the establishment and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that was also at a time in history when people were absolutely not owning their own hypocrisy.
Okay.
It's like, that was really at a time in history when people were just like, do what I say, not as I do kind of thing.
Right.
And that carried on until, we as society started getting more well-informed.
Yeah.
Again, this is all pre-internet. This is all pre-age of information. Now you even said it in the car on the way. You were just like, the kids have the tablets and the phones and everything. They have access to all the information. They should be able to pull up, memorable dates and shit at their fingertips. Mm-hmm. But most of them can't even remember their own home phone numbers or their parents' cell phone numbers.
It's true. It's sad. I want to just take a beat and I want to say something about the idea of the post-1969 Beatles, right? Let's say the Sgt. Pepper Beatles versus the Fab Four, okay?
All right.
The reason why, at least to my knowledge in American history, the reason why the Beatles were such a phenomenon worldwide was because they were literally so different. Their music was rock and roll. It was the same thing with Elvis.
Yeah.
That this is loud. This is fast. These kids have long hair and everything. And it's just like...
Their music's amplified.
Exactly.
By electricity.
So, I mean, you're talking from the get-go.
Yeah.
They are already counterculture.
Mm-hmm.
So where does the hypocrisy blur into the next hypocrisy by saying it's the latter Beatles that are, you know, too associated with counterculture to be acceptable? Because that's very hypocritical to me.
On a side note, I also love when Lemmy would say he remembers before there was rock and roll. He would go on to say, he's like, I remember, because he was born in 45. He's like, I remember Rosemary Clooney records. He's like, there's just your mom's records, you know. And then he says, and then we heard Elvis and we never looked back.
Well, yeah, it was a new thing. It was the dawn of a new era.
What do you think the next one will be?
Silence. I think we're gonna go full Philip Glass, and we're just gonna listen to hours of water dripping in darkness and be mesmerized by it. The sound of a faint echo somewhere in the distance.
You can give my share of LSD to somebody else.
I took a class when I was a music major in undergrad. I was briefly for a year and a half. I was a music major, and I remember taking a digital music course and listening to that nonsense because I absolutely believe that it is nonsense. All of that like postmodern like digital MIDI music and stuff like that. That's just like, oh. And then the final was like, create something. I'm like, no, this is horrendous.
See, like I can still, it's harder, you know, as I get older because my memory is not what it used to be, but it's like, I can recall all those like obscure songs that aren't in line with what I traditionally listen to.
Yeah.
That still like evoke emotions out of me. Like I could listen to Mark Cohn's Walking in Memphis any day of the, like I'll never get tired of it because of how infrequently I listen to it. But like the lyrics, the music, that whole like composition just it strikes something in me, you know? And again, getting back to our topic, people look at me and automatically assume that just because of the way I dress, the tattoos that I have, the way I style my hair or my beard or whatever, he's got to be into metal. He's got to be into all that like screaming shit and all that loud, distorted, obnoxious guitar sounds and this and that and the other thing. And it's just like, do you not realize that my Spotify is full of like 1940s jazz as well?
As well. See, I think that's just it. I think the problem is the pigeonholing, you know? Because like, for the most part, I get the same shit. I get the same shit. But there are, you know, and there are, you know, you surprise people. Now, you surprise people who are willing to be surprised by you.
Contrast that with my friends who are all about metal, who listen to the most obscure bands that the mainstream has never even, you know, caught a glimpse of.
Vocals that no one will ever understand.
Logos that no one can read. In fonts that no one's ever seen before.
It's true.
And what's strange is that to that crowd, it's like I'm not metal enough because I have other tastes.
How dare you?
So their perception is, well, he's not, you know, one of us because he likes, you know, mellow stuff. He likes emotional stuff. He likes this. He likes things that aren't, you know, albums that were recorded on an answering machine tape player in the middle of the woods in 1993.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
That's a thing?
It was a thing.
Was it that video of the people popping up out of nowhere?
Yes, it certainly was.
We should watch that. That's one of the funniest.
Call of the Winter Moon.
That's one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, you gotta hand it to those guys were like blowing fire and shit.
Man, that was so dumb. Oh shit.
That's what you do when you have nothing else to do.
But
we start a podcast.
And we started a podcast. I think that I don't know. I feel like people when they're so hell bent on their perception of something, I think that they refuse to allow for the reality of it.
Explain. Like, go deeper.
So, for example, you used you as an example. I'm going to use you as an example. There are things that people would not know about you without digging deeper.
Okay,
Okay?
yeah. I
That
can't
go
I can't see people caring though. Like,
caring is not the issue.
okay.
It's not a matter of caring. It's a matter of being willing to accept something beyond their perception. So, for example,
Mm-hmm.
I look at you, hypothetically,
Mm-hmm.
I look at you, I say hardcore metalhead. Okay.
That's unfair.
That's my perception of you, given your look, your demeanor, whatever, okay?
All right.
Okay. So I'm just a stranger. I'm not me. I'm not me. Okay? I'm just someone
On the street.
on the street. I see you. I cross the road because you're dangerous and you're scary and everything and whatever, right? And then and then you get in your car and you drive past me and the windows are down and you're blaring Benny Goodman. Okay? Just blasting it, rocking out to that goddamn clarinet. Exactly. You are rocking out to that clarinet.
Wait, let me ask you. Was the first time you ever heard Sing 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 in the Chips Ahoy commercial?
No.
It was for me.
Thank you very much. I'm sure it was for a lot of people, but no, it wasn't.
It's good stuff.
But that is where my brain goes.
It certainly made me. Didn't it make you want to go out and get a box of cookies?
Oh, absolutely. They did a good job with that one. But so something about that will stick to somebody. They'll be like, okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they won't accept it.
Yeah.
It's almost as if you're lying to them and they refuse to believe that about you. I'm going to say something that I have said to you on many occasions, but I'm going to say something that might upset some people. I have, for the last 15 years of my life, given the way that I look,
mm-hmm.
given the things that I have done for a living,
mm-hmm.
given the way that I use my body as art and for art and things like that, it is beyond most men's reality that I am not sexually attracted to women.
And men can't deal with that?
And men cannot handle that. They think that I have the audacity to look the way that I look and act the way that I act and do the things that I do. And how dare I not feed into their fantasy that I should be with a woman? I mean, you talk
so many things to unpack
like,
there.
What the fuck? I've been yelled at. I've been broken up with. Okay? Because apparently I am somehow advertising a bill of goods that I am unwilling in their perception to make good on.
Now,
I'm like, no.
I will own my own hypocrisy in this moment.
Oh, yeah?
In the sense that my perception of the kind of guys that you're describing right now is usually that of pretentious, egotistical, not very worldly, not very optimistic, not very open-minded, and, full of themselves and think that their shit don't stink.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Now, I've known guys of that ilk that aren't entirely like that, but a fair amount of them are.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can think is, what the hell are you doing talking to them?
Well, I was young. I was young and dumb, and I didn't learn my lesson for many, many years. But I certainly learned how to suss them out.
I mean, there are certain people that you could beat it in the face and just be like, and just stand on your soapbox and shout at them. But no matter what, they're never going to want to be any more open-minded or as open-minded as you'd like them to be in regards to anything. Like, you can try and get someone to understand you. your perspective, your point of view, your lifestyle choices, and you know, be like, hey, I'm not harming anybody with the things I choose to say or do or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why can't you just accept me for what I am? And it's like some people don't want their minds changed. You know, I spend a lot of time looking into the on this day feature of Facebook, because like there are always little things that like I share and repost in this to try and like jog my memory on like certain like specific things that I definitely want to remember.
Yeah.
And you know, one in particular came up this morning because it's those things that like really kind of like you know, provoke thoughts, like interest, like get you to really think about things. And I wanted to read this one. It says, I asked a friend who has crossed 70 and is heading towards 80 what sort of changes he's feeling in himself. He sent me the following. After loving my parents, my siblings, my spouse, children, and friends, I have now started loving myself. I've realized that I am not Atlas. The world does not rest on my shoulders. I have stopped bargaining with the vegetable and fruit vendors. A few pennies is more is not going to break me, but it might help the poor fellow save for his daughter's school fees. I leave my waitress a big tip. The extra money might bring a smile to her face. She is toiling much harder for a living than I am. I stopped telling the elderly that they've already told that story many times. The story makes them walk down memory lane and relive their past. I have learned not to correct people even when I know they are wrong. The onus of making everyone perfect is on me. Peace is more precious than perfection. I give compliments freely. Like, look, I could keep going and read this entire thing.
That's very eloquent.
It is. And, you know, what it resonates with me even more the older I get, because, you know, you taught me a long time ago that, like, there's no deadline for life. Like,
correct.
Not everything has to get done today, you know? And the more interactions I have with people and the more I learn from my interactions, you know, like it gets me thinking about these things in a way that I'd never thought before, you know? Like you had said to me, I think in last week's podcast, about my not necessarily knowing whether or not I piss people off.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been thinking about that ever since.
Sorry.
You know,
I throw that shit out there.
And like in regards to this post, I have a huge problem when it comes to always like feeling compelled to correct people, even if it's something so simple and like not necessarily like needing to be urgent.
Yeah.
You know? And the more I read things like this, the more I think to myself, you know what? There are way more important things, you know? And like my misguided perceptions of people don't necessarily need to be vocalized. You know, I could take the time to educate myself more, to read into things, to learn more about, you know, people and the way that they are, you know, because a lot of my opinions may have been formed by others, like misguided ones.
Very possible.
They could have been, yeah. You know, it's, I'm not going to sit here and say that like, I don't still have misguided opinions or judgments, you know, or perceptions. But, you know, it's our interactions that really form those things.
Yes.
You know? So, I don't know.
Am I watching you turn over a new leaf in real time?
Maybe.
I mean, I think that that's it, is that the idea of, you know, perceiving someone as needing to be corrected, needing to be fixed, needing to be, you know, like-minded, or needing to be any and all of the above, or none of the above. You know what I mean? I think that it's a perception that it's more important. I think this is my perception. I think it's more important to turn that inward and try and find out why. Like, why do I feel, not that I feel, but the royal I, why do I feel compelled to correct someone? Why do I feel compelled to educate someone? I feel completely the opposite, actually. Now, there are things that people do. I'm 4 degrees in English. There's plenty of things that people do that annoy me. Okay? When people write, I could have used help.
Oh, tell me that's not a thing.
Oh, it's a thing. I could have done something. And I'm like, ugh,
You know, I've never
blame the
actually,
schools.
I've never actually seen that.
No.
But I'm not gonna, sit here and tell you that that's not a thing, because I'm sure if you're saying it, you must have come across
it's
it.
a thing. But
I still get frustrated with the there, and there.
And the your and your, of course, and the it's and it's. But, like, these are things that, like, okay, it grinds my gears a little bit. But, like, the last thing I'm going to do is nitpick someone for something like that. Because that is, to me, just a smidgen of energy that I don't have to waste on that.
Now, in regards to both of our situations, both of our experiences, the hardest part of that pill to swallow is the fact that you and I have this self-awareness. We have this realization that, okay, there are more important things. We don't have to nitpick everything. We don't have to,
We don't have to.
We but will that be reciprocated for us? Usually not. We don't get the same level of understanding.
And I think that's it, is that when we
don't get the tolerance, we don't get the compassion.
Well, when you have the spark, when you are sparked to understand and elevate your self-awareness, it allows you to also elevate your compassion and your empathy for other people. And I believe that at least part of the reason why we don't force our energies on people, we don't impose our will on other people, is because we have the compassion to understand that we would not want someone to do that to us. And we live by truly the golden rule.
It's a little juvenile to think of it now, but again, I mean, it's like, people let that go. People allow that out of their lives as they age, because
what?
To do unto others.
They let it go?
Yeah.
You mean they stop?
I mean, my perception of adulthood from when I was a child versus what it is now is vastly different. Okay.
Yes.
I remember being young and looking at my brother's friends when they were all in high school and thinking that they were so mature and so bold and so,
t-shirts tucked into belted jeans and stuff.
Braided belts, too.
Braided belts, baby!
And I remember having this perception that they were all, worlds beyond anything that I could possibly comprehend. That they were the closest thing to, being adults, but in smaller form, like
smaller adults.
Sure.
Like me.
I think everyone just looked bigger at that time.
I mean, it's possible. When you're tiny. Yeah.
And then, once we started surpassing those ages, like, how like the running gag nowadays is like people who say like, oh my God, can you believe that we are now the age or passing the age of where Stu and Dee Dee Pickles were on Rugrats? And it's just like, they were only like,
I think that's weird to look at them and be like, ew, really? They were only like 35?
But it's like,
wild.
As we age, and I start to learn a little bit more each day about, things are not necessarily what we thought they were in regards to our siblings, our parents, our parents' coworkers, our parents' friends. Like, we're finding it out for ourselves.
Yeah.
The trials and tribulations of life.
You know what I like to think about? I like to think that as a child, I always envisioned, because this always seemed to be something that was put out there. It's a thought that was put out into the universe. As kids, we were under the impression that when we became grown-ups, we could do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the greatest achievement that I have made as a grown-up, as an adult person, is to take that, the idea of I can do whatever I want, and reform it to include just being kind to people, just being understanding. I don't have to be an asshole to these people. I don't have to impose my will on other people, because I don't want to. And I'm an adult and I can choose to do that. And I wish that more people would, especially adult persons. Kids today, they're all attitude and me. Well, most of them. Some of them. I'll go with some of them. But it's the adults, the kids we used to be, wanting to be so grown up that we could do whatever we want and not having the whatever we want be putting people down and putting people in quote unquote their place. And we could choose as adults to just be kind.
I'm actually at a point where I'd much rather spend my time around people way younger than me than people older than me because you can impart things on them that we didn't get from our elders.
Do you find them receptive?
It depends on who it is, you know. It depends on their background, you know. It's just like I have to keep reminding myself that not everyone my age, not everyone, you know, in the generation beneath us had the same upbringing that I did, you know, that they didn't get the same, you know, they didn't get the same influence. They didn't get the same, you know, talks. It's, you know, I have to remind myself constantly that not everybody grows up the same way. Not everybody is taught the same.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm the trainer at my job. It is my job to make sure that once these guys are done with me, they're able to go and do the job on their own.
Right.
And what I've said since day one is I'm trying to impart every bit of wisdom on you guys that I was not given when I was coming up, because, and it's not even just in this job anymore. It's realistically in life. If you don't ask, nobody tells you.
Yeah.
I think I said it last week in the podcast. Like it's becoming more prevalent now where you have to be the one to ask somebody, how is this done? Why is it done? You know?
I like to think that that is strictly a microcosm, though, because to me, on the macro, I think of if people aren't told, no one will ask. But I like to think that there is more autonomy out there, that people do have the more autonomous zeal to learn something that they're interested, not that they're even interested in, but just something that they're curious about. Like every time we watch a movie and it's like, who is that? Why do I know that person? And instantly go look it up. It's like, oh, okay, now I know, instead of just sitting there being like, I don't know.
Let me boil it down to the simplest term.
Boil it down, baby.
Anytime my dad is having an issue with his television, which is all the time, he will not sit there and try and figure out the remote.
Andrew, the volume won't go down.
We'll get a call, God knows what time. Same vein, the kid, when Henry is sitting there playing his video game, he'll sit there and he'll be like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do what I'm trying to do. Now, I can think back to when I was much, much younger, and if I didn't know how to use the remote, I figured it out. I button mashed.
Just button mashed.
If I didn't know how to play a video game,
accidentally delete stuff,
and I didn't,
accidentally order
download
movies,
porn, and if I didn't know how to play a game and nobody was around, I button mashed till I figured it out.
Yeah, you just keep dying until you figure it out.
But my dad is constantly coming to me with problems on the TV, and the kids come to me, how do I play this game? What buttons do I press? And it's just like, are you not interested in figuring it out? Are you not interested in discovering it for yourself? Does that not bring you any sort of like joy or fulfillment?
I feel that way when it comes to the generational bridge that is made of cheat codes. There's people who want to play these games, but only if they have the cheat codes to win. It's like, go fuck yourself.
You saw me on
me?
Thursday. I spent all day downloading that game, following the tutorial on YouTube, going through all these files on this website that I'd never been to, that I didn't know how to navigate.
Translating all the Japanese.
And I'm just like, but once it was done and my goal was accomplished, I felt personally fulfilled because it's like, I did that on my own.
Yeah.
I sought out the people who could get me to where I needed to go. It wasn't, you know, but like, and the other thing too is that like, even when I offer myself, not even just to my coworkers, but to anyone, I'm like, call me. My phone's always on, even on my days off, whatever. It doesn't matter. People think that they're bothering me.
Well, I think that's a perception thing too, is that, it's like, oh, we should get together, we should have coffee, we should do lunch, we should, hang out sometime and everything. And people are always saying, they say the same thing. That's great. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Call me, text me, text me. And it never happens because people, I think the perception too widely now is that it's just a nicety. That it's not
It's
real.
like, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. What do you need? Anything? I'll,
Yeah.
What can I do for you? I'm always there for you.
I've decided the next time someone, says like, I've gotten a little bit of it with, with being diagnosed with RA and everything. And some people who don't know what to say to me will say, like, if you need anything, you can always ask. And I'm tempted to just start asking for money.
I said that to somebody.
I'm just going to be like, cash works.
I said that to somebody today,
Yeah.
Close friend. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get specific about it, but a close friend, I'm like, anything you need. Absolutely. Money, rides, whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, this is somebody I've known for 20 plus years, like, and he's in a bind. You need something, I'm there.
Not to change the subject, but is that the sound of the dog snoring really heavily?
No, that's the bear that's making its way to the bird feeder outside. Oh, look. I still can't believe I caught that mouse coming out of the hole.
That was adorable.
I actually managed to get it on video.
Well, when we level the ground out there, we have to make sure not to fill in that hole.
They'll find a way.
Oh man,
this was a good talk.
This was a few good talks. I feel like we covered a wide berth of things.
BIR or BER?
I think BER.
Okay.
A wide berth.
BERT. Okay.
Or a wide girth.
Again,
not a dearth. A dearth is actually a lack.
In the coming episodes, I'm gonna have the flashcards ready.
Yeah, we're gonna have
flashcards.
We're gonna get our day planner and our schedules all set and everything.
And at
like
some
that.
point, I want us to go back and do and do a review of an old episode.
To review.
Yeah, I want us to sit here and just like listen to snippets and just laugh and be like, "Oh God, that was so awful." And yeah.
We can do that. We'll do the clip show.
Mm-hmm. Everybody does it.
Everybody does it. Well, I mean, Fresh Prince's first clip show was what, episode 6? So, and their clips were of episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Good times. But yes, this was a good talk. I had a good time. You have a good time?
I'm looking forward to my next beer.
Yeah.
Well, the Sam Adams Holiday White Ale. It's
not a sponsor. Not a sponsor.
Well, again, it's limited, so it's going to be gone in like a week.
Well, all right. Thank you out there for listening to That Talking Podcast. We've had a blast. Follow us on social media. Find us and follow us. DT Andy and JJ Star with 2 R's.
I have a new TikTok.
What is it?
It's not Downtown Andy anymore. It's Downtown_Andy.
Downtown_. Are you following me?
I must be. Yeah.
Okay.
I just started making new videos and putting them up because fuck TikTok. They deleted my old one. They wouldn't tell me why. They said I violated a policy. They wouldn't tell me what it was. And nobody will answer my emails. So I'm just like,
it's all AI. I don't think there's a single human being out there that does this anymore.
I'm having fun making videos on the new one.
Well,
now.
Good. All right. So, Downtown_Andy
on TikTok.
That's my man on TikTok.
Tell your friends and family to add me, to follow me, to Yeah.
You can find me I'm on TikTok too. It's JJ Star.
What prompted me to start making the new ones, because I was off on a day that you weren't this week, and I was just deep diving your TikTok again.
Aww.
That's what really made me fall in love with you.
Oh.
Because I love watching your TikTok.
Oh, man. We should... are we going to do an episode where you're just watching my TikTok?
Sure. Listen, when you actually sit down and take the time to really put effort into your TikToks,
yeah, I know.
It's very entertaining.
I know. And maybe I'll get back into it. Who knows? But in the meantime, you can go to our website, thattalkingpodcast.buzzsprout.com. And what? Did I say it wrong?
No, I was just, in one of the videos I made, I was just like, buzzsprout.talking something. Ask my wife.
But yeah, go there and you can send us a text message, send us comments, questions, and conversation starters. And...
Tell us what color you want your back scratcher to be.
Oh, God. I swear.
Listen, we got to take pre-orders at this point. I mean, what am I going to make them for if you're not going to...
I'm so terrified that this is what you're getting me for my birthday.
No.
Just a gross of Oriental Trading Company back scratchers in 5 different colors: neon pink, orange, yellow, green, and purple. and I am going to set them on fire.
Listen, I have to get you at least one so you'll stop being like, babe, can I have the back scratcher from your side of the bed?
Should I just ask you to scratch my back instead? Maybe that's what it is. You are that talking podcast back scratcher.
I mean,
Downtown Andy himself.
You do periodically ask me to lotion your back. I mean,
I can't reach. I can't reach. I'm old and I'm brittle.
Oh, stop.
Anyway.
You're only 40. I can't believe you're 40.
I'm going to be 41 in 3 weeks.
Less than that, I think.
3 weeks from 3 weeks from this past Friday.
Is it?
Wow.
I don't want the clock.
Yeah, 3 weeks from this past Friday.
It'll be,
so a little less than 3 weeks. 41, baby! Here we come. And
from the three of us.
Yeah, the three of us here. Do we have anything to plug?
We got a wrestling show in April, but that's it.
Well, we'll get details on that.
Yeah.
And
that's that Rhode Island gig that we had. We're bringing it to Connecticut. It's coming to Hartford.
Well, again, we'll get details on that later. And yeah. All right. So that's that. That's a wrap.
Sure.
And from the three
Can we go get stuff now?
Yeah, from the three of us here at That Talking Podcast, I'm JJ Starr.
And I'm Downtown Andy.
And we'll talk to you later.